Hello there, and welcome to Ready, Steady, Read, which is a new series of activities and games that I've created for kids about to go into reception and kids making that transition from reception to year one, so that you have a bunch of easy peasy activities to do with your little one over the summer that are easy to fit in around your day-to-day life. So, this is Monday's activity for reception. You can see we've got our little reception title there, and it's always in green. So, this is our listening game. Listening is one of those core skills of reading that will help with so much. Later, this develops into blending, which is the ability to put sounds together to make words. So that's the core of reading. If I were to say the sounds k, at, t, your brain can blend those together to make the word cat, but it can do that because your listening skills are good enough to have heard each sound and then be able to play with them. So that's why we spend a lot of time working on listening skills in reception. And this is one activity we're going to do, which is called the scavenger hunt. So this is a really easy one to play. We have two different sheets for you to use. We have the outside sounds sheet and the inside sounds sheet, which you can use to sort of support you if you want to, or support your little one if they want it. But otherwise, you can do this without anything at all, or you can get them to write their own or draw their own pictures to show what they've heard. But ultimately, all you want to do is encourage your child to listen to the world around them. You can either do this just sort of as and when you want, or you could set a 1-minute timer, or you could say, oh, what's that sound, and get them to tell you what it is. Encourage them, if you're using the worksheet, encourage them to find it on the worksheet. Otherwise, what we want to encourage is for them to be able to say what the sound is, where it came from, and mimic it. So for example, right now, I can hear my next door neighbours talking, so I can hear adults talking, it's coming from over there, and they're going. By doing that, we've identified a sound in our brain, we've worked out the directional location of it, and then we've mimicked it. So that's training our vocal cords, which will help us with blending those sounds together. So we have a few questions that you might want to ask during this. So things like, oh, what can you hear? Can you make that sound? What do you think made that sound? And can you act like the thing that made that sound? So let's say your child heard a train go past. Can they act like a train? So that then makes it active. It makes your child more likely to want to do it. And it makes it a gross motor skill as well, because they're moving and doing things. So yes, for each of these, you'll have the questions, you'll have the reading skills. So in this case, hearing and identifying those big sounds in the world is the first step towards hearing those smaller and smaller units of sound, including the letters or the sounds within words, like k is the first sound in cat. So that's our Monday activity, and I hope you really enjoy it playing with your little ones. Hello there, happy Wednesday. This is our second activity this week, and this one is all about gross motor skills. So this is called Growing Strong, and it's called about inside obstacles. And you'll see there's an extra little video of me doing some very silly jumping around in my corridor. So you'll notice that it doesn't have to be overly complicated. You can use whatever's in your house and set it up that way. For those who don't know, gross motor skills are your core strength and your arms and your shoulders. They're the muscles there. These are really, really important for writing skills and for just general life, because your core helps you stand up straight, it helps you sit up straight. So if your child is going into reception, they'll be needing to sit on the carpet. Having core strength will help with that. Gross motor helps with writing, because while we think that it's finger-based, which is called fine motor, actually, when we write, we tend to use our arms, and particularly when we're little, our children use a fist grip, which is perfectly fine, and they use a lot more arm muscles and shoulder muscles than if they're just sitting writing at a table. So we want to make sure that these are really strong in our kids, so that they are feeling confident and that they can pick up a pencil and later on throughout the year start writing as well. So these, as I say, it's a gross motor activity. It's very simple. Took me about 5 minutes to set it up. Grab some items from around your house and set up an obstacle course. So in my obstacle course, I used a chair for them to climb over. You could get them to crawl under, but I was never going to fit under that. A pillow that I then jumped down on. A blanket that I'd strung up that I could crawl under. You don't need to string yours up because your little one will have a bit more time and probably be a bit more flexible than I am at 31. And then I finally finished with some coasters where I could tiptoe across them. So all I've done there is just grab some random stuff and have a go at trying it out. So what you want to do is do exactly the same, set up the random stuff, and then say to your little one, okay, first climb on the chair, and let them do it. So you're then getting them to follow instructions as well, which is training their listening skills and their memory. Then jump on the pillow, off they go, and so on and so forth. So they are following those instructions, they're listening, they're using those gross motor, and it's a great one to do when it's a rainy day or you just want 5 minutes. And the best part of it is that once you've set it up, they can play it on their own. And even if you're not giving them instructions, they're still developing that gross motor. It's like creating a fort inside. Anything that is getting them moving is going to be building up gross motor, which will help with writing later on. So that's today's activity. I hope you enjoy it. Happy Friday. This is our third activity this week, and it's all about name recognition. So while this isn't specifically reading based, this is something that will massively help your child in reception. If they already know their name and how to recognize it and how to write it, don't worry, I will give you an extension. But for those of you who have little ones who haven't started learning their name yet, don't worry, that's absolutely fine. But if your child can recognize their name and write at least the first letter on any piece of artwork that they create, it will make their lives a lot easier. It will mean that they have more art that goes into their book because the teacher will be able to find out whose artwork it is, and it will help them gain ownership over what they have done as well. So it's very, very simple. All you want to do is write your child's name on a big piece of paper and grab a couple of letters. Now, if you have wooden letters, great. If you have magnetic letters, great. Whatever you have to hand. You'll see in the video, I've also done a variation where you've just written extra post-its on a separate piece of paper, and your child can just match those across. So if you don't have magnetic letters, you can use those instead. That's not a problem. What I will say is if you could use lowercase letters, except for the first letter of their name, that is brilliant, because we so rarely write in capital letters that it's far more advantageous for our kids to write in lowercase. If you have taught in capitals before, no problem, just try it with lowercase now. And if you are worried about it at all, you can always pop me a message. But that would be my recommendation. If your child is already able to recognize their name, obviously you could get them to trace their name. You could get them to start looking. There's going to be an activity next week that comes up that's going to be about recognizing other letters. But you can start talking about the sounds that the letters in their name makes. So for example, with the word Sarah, we've got S. So you can start saying that your first sound in your name says S. So S for Sarah. It's not necessarily going to work for every sound. Like the next sound is air. That's not spelled A-R, but you can talk about it. You can talk about the ones that do match and how that works. So it's a very quick activity as usual, but that's our Friday activity. I hope you've enjoyed this first set of activities and you're looking forward to next week. I'll see you then.